Steve Langford is here. Stevie boy, what's happening, man? Steve Langford from the Howard 100 News. Look at this guy. He loves the news. He's ready to go, frothing at the mouth like a rabid dog. Go ahead, Steve.
Well, whose life are you ruining now?
Yeah,
That's what they say.
Ruin some lives.
Just the fact.
Right.
A political shitstorm in Gary Dell'Abate's hometown, the descendant of one of America's foremost feminists, carrying around a bag of feces and hauling it out at meetings, apparently to express her opposition to Dell'Abate's nomination to a local board.
Uh-oh, it's enraged her and put her on fire.
Let me get this right, okay? I heard that the woman, I read the article too. The woman who is against Gary's appointment or questions Gary's appointment got a bag of feces.
She says in her mailbox at home.
So now, instead of throwing out the bag of feces, are you telling me for real she goes to the meetings carrying a smelly bag of feces?
Twice now. Now, she initially said she wanted authorities to investigate this. How do you investigate if you don't have the evidence?
What is her point in carrying the bag of feces? To say that Gary shouldn't be on the board because she got feces in the mail?
Well, look, if the story is true, and there's no reason to suggest that anybody pulled a stunt here, she has a legitimate grievance here. I mean, clearly somebody.
Agree.
But it has nothing to do with Gary.
It's a smear campaign, clearly.
Right. What's going on, Gary? It's crazy where you live.
I've been in the cover of my paper like 7 days in a row.
Are you
It's killing
kidding?
me. This woman is tormenting me. So
why don't you just not be on the board?
Because now it's like I'm not stopping.
Right.
I'm not letting her.
Right.
Because you know what? The deal is, I don't want to get into the minutia of it, but these appointment boards sort of are advisory only. Like if they said 0 to 12, I still get to go before everybody.
Right.
And I'm pretty confident that when I go in front of the 250 people, that I'm going to win.
Right.
It's like a vocal minority that are up there. But when this thing first happened, when they found the feces in her mailbox, they asked me if I would come to town hall and meet with her, and I was like, okay, I'm around. And so I sat down, and she took it out and put it on the table,
as if you had done this to her.
Well, and I said, so the guy that we were meeting with, we're like, what are you doing? I know, we believe you.
And you know what feces is.
Yeah.
You mean, and the whole room must stink, right?
So 9 days.
Wait, no, you can't brush over this.
Yes, it smells.
You're sitting there with her, and she pulls out a bag of feces.
Yes, and she opens it up and she shows it to us.
Did she take it out of her purse?
It was in a big bag, like one of those sort of tote bags.
And now she's walking around like Jesus with the cross. She's walking around as a big martyr because she has this bag of feces.
Well, I don't.
How many days old is the bag of feces?
Well, now since it was Tuesday night's meeting, so to the best of my, that was 10 days old.
You know what you should have done? You should have taken out a bag of feces, or you should just shit on a table and put it in a bag
to make her feel at home.
I mean, what is she? I mean, I don't know this woman. And I don't know why she has it in for you because it makes no sense to me. If she's against my show, I don't know what that has to do with you being on the board of Parks and Recreations.
And this is a non-story.
Well,
it is.
It's a non-story.
I can't believe she sat down and whipped out a bag of feces.
Well, then they had the big meeting Tuesday night where they took a vote. First time in the history of the town, they took a vote to re-vote on me. They've never re-voted on a candidate.
They're changing the rules. They're doing everything.
But wait a second. They already had a vote on you, and you passed.
Right. So then they had a vote to re-vote, which passed. So then they re-voted, and I still won, but just by less of a margin.
Ooh, I mean, she actually got people against you.
Well, she had abstained the first time. She did not vote against me. So I think she wanted to re-vote so she could go on record, my guess, to go on record as having voted against me.
And why is she against you? What is the reason?
She doesn't like what you degrade women, and her great-great-grandmother was women's rights, and she doesn't like people who degrade women. But
why is she carrying a bag of shit? So we all know she had a bag of shit in her mailbox. And by the way, I don't
because
condone
now she has suffered.
I don't condone that, but that reminds me of my mom. When my mom would suffer, like, she would say to me, you have a dirty room, and your room, we gave you a room, and you must keep it clean. You know what I mean? Like she's walking, when Jesus with the cross, I mean, she's walking around.
Jesus didn't complain that much.
Yeah, I mean, Jesus was a cool guy. She is carrying this bag of shit around with her as if it's her badge of courage, right?
Right. There's so many things going on, Howard. Then they played at this meeting the other night. They played these.
How long does the bag of shit stay on the table?
I wasn't there. I refused to attend the meeting.
Do you know, Steve? Were you at the meeting?
Not the second meeting, no.
But at the meeting, she takes out this bag of shit,
In front of this like 12 member board.
And is it a dramatic thing? She takes out the shit, she puts it on the table, and then she says, does she stare at it?
Does she have a speech? What does she say?
This is the greatest thing ever.
I read a line again. I refused. They asked me if I wanted to come to the meeting. I'm like, no, I already passed. So you guys do whatever you're going to do. I've already been approved, overwhelmingly been approved.
Right.
So it said there was a line in the paper, and I don't know how I have it exactly right, but they said, "What are you doing?" And she said something about like, sometimes in life these things aren't pretty. You need to, you can't gloss over these things with perfume, I think was the line.
Behold the feces. This feces. I mean, it's a terrible thing that somebody did that to her. I agree.
It is. And I said I don't condone it in any way.
Right. But some fan of ours or someone claiming to be a fan of ours evidently heard about what was going on either in the newspaper or on our show or somewhere, and decided to leave feces in this woman's mailbox.
Well, it gets worse.
And as bad as that is, to put it in a bag and walk around town and bring it to meetings.
It sounds very unsanitary, unhealthy.
Where is the feces now? Does anyone know?
We must assume that she still has it with her.
She's still holding on to it.
Steve, I am so fascinated.
Where do you store feces when you're keeping it?
Yeah, I am so fascinated that this woman is holding on to this feces.
I am too. She brought it to my meeting.
In other words, she could get up and say, somebody left feces in my mailbox.
She doesn't have to carry it.
She wants proof.
Well, here's the funny thing.
This is an amazing human being.
She's practically a whack packer at this point.
Right. This is wild.
It was on the local TV news. The local news 12.
But you know what? This is probably the most attention she ever got in her life. The thing she's known for is something her great-grandmother did. I don't know what she does and what she's accomplished in her life, but her great-grandmother accomplished something, and now all of a sudden
she has a cause.
She has a cause. You've given her a reason for living.
Yeah, I'm not looking for any of this attention.
Right.
I did not expect it.
Right.
I mean, I expected a little bit of attention, but this is like Mary's like, she's like, really? Does it have to? Mary's like, it's in the paper every day. Would you stop already?
Do you think she's plotting against you?
Well, yes, because she tried. I mean, plotting. She tried to get the board to reverse the decision about me.
You should never have met with her face to face.
Yeah,
what was that about?
But that was sort of funny. She just, she wanted me to see the feces. I don't know.
So she showed you the feces.
Yeah, she put it out at this meeting.
It was just you and her in a room,
and another guy.
Okay, hold on. Where did this meeting take place?
At town hall.
All right, you went to town hall. You drove over there.
That's right. It was a Monday. We were off.
Who got in the room first?
One of the selectmen.
Okay, it's the selectmen. You walk in. Do you walk in with her, or you're sitting there waiting for her?
The two of them are in there, and then I walk.
Already in. Does she have a scowl on her face? Is she?
No, she's actually sort of pleasant.
Now, does the room stink from shit?
No.
Is it in plastic?
Yes, it's in the. It looked like it was in one of the. You ever see those blue bags that the New York Times gets delivered in?
Right. I pick up my dog's feces and I wrap it in a bag and I even tie a knot.
Right.
It still stinks.
I agree. I agree.
But it's not dry when you do that. See, now it's had time to dry.
Well, you make a good point.
It's been cured.
God.
So now, is it a clear bag? No,
this is a blue bag.
Okay. You walk in the room. She's sitting there, and is she like very serious?
No, she's actually sort of like,
Is she an attractive woman? Is she an older woman? What is she?
She's probably in her late 50s, early 60s or so.
A very proper woman, like.
Yeah. No, she looks like,
Right. Is she like Church Lady, the Dana Carvey character?
No.
Okay.
No.
So you go and you sit down. Do you shake her hand hello?
I think we say hello. I don't think we shake hands.
Right. And you're her adversary now. She's got, this is so exciting for her.
This is her whole life. Can you imagine how many times this story has been told now?
Yeah. So of course, this is going to get played at the next meeting, everything we say.
Right. Good.
Because the last meeting...
Play it all you want. This is, if anything, I think you should have a vote on this woman. I think she's losing it.
Because at the last meeting, they played what was said last time, and they didn't bleep it. So all the F words were on, and now they're mad at her for not editing it. She said, again, the truth should not be censored.
Here, fuck.
Oh,
Play
no.
it. There you go. Cunt, fuck.
Oh, jeez.
Well,
now we're in trouble.
I want that on the record.
Gary's in the paper again.
I love this story. So,
wait, can I tell you another part of the story?
So okay.
All right,
all right. So you walk in, you say hello, and the idea is the two of you are going to find common ground.
That's right.
She's going to give you the book on her great grandmother.
That comes at the end.
Did she at least write this book on her great grandmother, or does she just march around with this book?
I don't know.
Books about her grandmother.
That's funny. I don't know. She said, "I'm going to give you my book." In my mind, I just assumed she wrote it, but it could be. I don't know the answer to that.
I'm sure she did. Isn't she like the curator of her grandmother's estate?
You would hope she at least wrote it. And so she hands you this book, which no one's going to read and no one ever has read.
Well, we haven't exchanged books yet.
Oh.
I haven't even left my book there yet.
Oh, you agreed?
We agreed that we were going to exchange books.
Okay, good. Yeah. Why suck her dick?
Well, that's exactly. My feeling was, you know what? That day she was nicer to me than she's been in all the days. So I'm like, I'll let her do her thing.
Why do I find it so repugnant that you have to suck up to this woman?
Well, the thing is that all this other stuff is a smokescreen that has nothing to do with what I've theoretically volunteered to do.
Right.
And she's just making all this noise and getting all this attention, and nobody's looking at who I am for the position.
Right,
They're just
they
looking
should say, hey, how do you feel about the park that they're building or something? Right.
So the second part of this is somebody sent an email to all the members of the board. Now, they had a name on the end of it, but we haven't been able to find this person. We don't know if it's real. Howard, it was one of the most... I couldn't even believe it. Like when Mary read it, she couldn't believe it. At one point, one of the lines is... I'm disgusting. I'm filthy. I have 2 daughters. I wouldn't let my daughters near this man. I think the last line says, we need to protect our parks and our children from this man. I'm not kidding.
I've got the letter here.
Read some of it.
Read some of it.
Oh, my God.
It's long.
But just read the good
you got a
parts.
highlight there or no?
As a proud parent and father of 2 daughters, I am writing to ask you that you please vote against Gary Dell'Abate's appointment to the Board of Parks and Recreation. And it just goes on about anyone who's ever listened to the show knows that Gary is primarily responsible for insulting, humiliating, and both verbal and physical abuse of women in the name of fun that appear on the show.
Oh.
Don't you think this woman had this guy write this?
Well, we can't find this guy.
He
In other words,
exist?
the newspaper printed it. But I said, well, why don't you go? Who is this guy? Because no one had ever heard of him. All the people on the board's like, I've never heard of this guy.
You think he's a made-up guy?
I do think he's a made-up guy.
And you think she wrote it?
I don't know about that.
Right.
I don't know who wrote it, but they can't find the guy who wrote it. and it's just at one point it's like
You did tell a girl to take her panties off yesterday.
okay, but she said no.
Right.
I forced her to do nothing.
I don't know if you can be on the Parks and Recreations.
Well, that was the other
We've
thing.
got to protect our parks from this guy.
One of the conversations I was having with that woman in our feces meeting was I kept saying to her, I don't understand with what I do has to do with the position. And she kept referring to the baloney incident because she's the one who brought it up. And she said, well, that's recreation. And I'm like, that's not, I don't understand what you're saying.
You're not going to have a baloney throwing park recreational event.
Right.
Oh my God! What do you do? You know what it is?
Well, I think this is now taking a life of its own.
I'm up to my tits in quicksand. Is what's going on.
Yeah, right.
Like I can't get out now.
Well,
I can see that Gary may have to leave this community completely.
You're going to be drummed out.
I've got
like
a lot.
Frankenstein.
I've got
light torches.
I've gotten a lot of calls of support, including a call yesterday from my congressman saying, "Just stay with it. You're a good guy."
Of course. Listen, this guy is probably the best father I've ever met out of anyone I know. Better than any father I've ever seen. And better community member.
What a community member.
And organized and all this stuff.
All
and
you
his
can
wife,
hope for is somebody to participate. Gary participates.
His wife and family are lovely. And he's sitting and defending himself to this woman is beyond my comprehension. So when does she do the martyr move and pull out the bag of shit?
Like it's like a third of the way through the meeting.
And what happens? What does she say to you?
She goes, I want you to know what I went through. So she reaches in the bag, and we don't know what's coming next.
Right.
And so if I could imagine you have like a plastic bag, and if you keep folding it down and folding it down.
Yeah.
So she pulled it out, and she's in the tote bag doing something. I don't know what it is, but she's folding it down. So when it comes out of the tote bag, it's exposed shit.
Did she opened up the shit?
Yeah.
So in other words, so you could see the shit.
Right.
Now, let me ask you something.
How big a shit was it?
It's like a dog turd. I don't think it's human.
Right.
It doesn't appear. I don't know. I mean, I have a dog. It looks like it came from my dog.
So it was just one turd.
There were like 2 little ones.
Two little
ones.
turds.
So did she have to scrape this up? I mean, how was it delivered to her?
They were fairly fully formed turds, the kind that you could pick up.
So in other words, rather than keep the bag sealed, she opened it so the smell would waft.
Right.
And she wants you to see what she went through.
presented it.
I need.
Right. She needs to show you proof. So what do you say to that? Because you're going to go, like, hey, I'm sorry you went through that. But why are you carrying around shit, lady?
But I'm wondering how it got into the bag. So she gets it.
Let me ask you something.
Maybe it was delivered in that bag. I don't know.
Do you really think this woman, with what she's doing and carrying on with bags of shit, do you think she should be sitting on the board?
Well, that's for others to decide. But it's been I've been hearing discussion about it. Like everyone's.
You should mount a campaign against her.
People are very upset. In fact, the place that she did it, which is to me so ironic, was they were having the meeting on the place where people eat lunch that work at the town. That's where she threw it down.
You know, listen, wouldn't it be funny? She calls for another vote. She gets the next vote. And it turns out you get through, and she is voted out. That would be the best.
So
What does she do, actually? Why is she
why does she have this
elected?
Listen,
Yes.
nobody could have this much time on their hands. Does she have a job?
I don't know the answer to that.
I mean, this is a tremendous amount of effort.
So I've gone through her committee. I'm done.
Right.
She can't do too. Well, she can do more, and I'll tell you. Now I have to go through another committee this Tuesday, which is the Parks and Recreation Committee. I don't know if there's another one of her type on that committee.
Do you have to show up for that?
Yes, I have to show up for that. And then
Usually these are rubber stamp things.
And then finally, in a couple of weeks, I go before the whole 250 people and they vote.
Wow.
But people get to come up. They get 3 minutes each to speak. So she's almost definitely going to be there to speak against me.
Goodness. This is some story.
But I've lined up some good people to speak for me.
You know what you need to do, Gary? You need to invite her over to your home.
No.
What if she brings the bag of shit?
Shows it to the kids.
Is there any way to find out where the bag of shit is now? Like, is it in her house? Is it kept at where?
Does
It's
she
obviously
keep it in a cool, dry place?
It's kept somewhere.
It was supposed to be, according to her initial interview with the newspaper, it was supposed to have been handed over to the Postmaster General.
Right.
But it wasn't.
Boy, why not?
I don't know.
Well, she needed to show it
She
to
likes
you.
holding on to it.
Right. Do you think at the next meeting there'll be a final unveiling of the shit? Because I'd almost go for that.
Well, see,
Is the shit tour over?
Here's the funny thing. She's not on the board of the next meeting, but the next meeting is a public meeting, so she could, as a citizen,
she
show
will
up.
definitely testify.
This bag of shit is becoming to me like the King Tut exhibit. Like, I want to go when she brings it on tour. I love it.
There are a lot of people who are involved with the town in politics who are embarrassed by this whole situation.
Of course.
Not by me, by this.
Well, of course. It's almost
making a mockery of your little
It's
community.
almost like the movie Animal House. I mean, it is. She's so Dean Warmer. It's crazy. And the whipping out of the turd. I mean, do you realize if this was a comedy with Belushi and Chevy Chase and, it would be terrific.
I know.
I'm almost thinking of making this into a film. With the turd. So when she opens up this duty, did you laugh? What did you do? I know
The guy and I, we both were like, we go, what are you doing? And the other guy that was with me, he goes, put that away. And she goes, you need to see it. And we both go, we believe you.
You don't laugh?
You didn't. No, I was like, I go, just. First of all, it was on the news, and the funny thing was when they showed it on the news, which it was in her hand, her showing it.
Yeah.
They cubed it out, which is so funny because it was just a pile of shit, but they cubed it out, but you could see it was shit. So I was like, I saw the
So
news.
you mean on the news she had the bag of shit with her, and she opened it up in the way that she did at the meeting?
Well, listen, somebody was holding it in their hands. I'm going to assume it was hers. She doesn't appear to want to give up ownership of it.
This is an important bag of shit.
But why do they have to cube it out on TV?
Robin, please.
Oh my God, we're in a crazy nightmare.
But it's funny.
Do you have no morals?
It's funny
What
than
if
that.
children saw shit?
Robin, they did a long shot of it where you could see what it was, and that was fine. But when they did the close up, that's when they cubed it.
Well, listen, they're young children. If they see duty, it could affect them in a negative way. Because kids have never seen duty. Who knows? Children might start shitting.
So anyway, my tiny little volunteer appointment has become a referendum on the show.
I love it.
So the other thing was, at this meeting the other night too, I told you they played it and had all the curses.
Well, you just hit it on the head. They're really voting on the show.
That's right.
They're not
That's right.
voting on you.
There's one other thing I got to bring up, though.
Be at these meetings.
No.
There's one other thing I got to bring up. Somebody else at this last meeting pulled something off of Stern Fan Network, which they don't realize is not our thing. And she started to read from it. And my understanding was that there were two other people waiting for their appointment, which that meeting ended after the shit came out because everyone laughed. But somebody started reading, and in this thing there was the N-word was used and the word spick was used.
Right.
And I understand that one of the people waiting to be appointed was Hispanic. So now there's a whole chain letter going around about how you can't talk like that at meetings. Everything's upside down.
No one ever once even probably attended these stupid meetings. I mean, this is
the most exciting thing that has happened. It really is, finally we're getting some attention and people can see what I do.
I got to say, there's a part of me that is for here it's fun, but for where I live, it's embarrassing.
Of course,
because my friends know me, but people don't know me. This is in the paper every day.
This is
but
where
I'm
you
not
live.
stopping.
I understand, but I know what you're also saying. This is where you live.
Right.
This is where your children go to school. This is where your wife is. That's your one respite.
It is like a sanctuary. Like I go there, and I'm not on the show when I'm doing that stuff, and I love it there.
You don't want any notoriety where you live. You just want to blend in, enjoy your day. You know, enjoy your home, enjoy your friends, have some relatives over. This is the one place you just want to relax.
If I had any idea that this would happen, I wouldn't have moved forward. But
I don't blame you.
But I'm not turning back now.
I feel like I might have warned you a little bit.
I was going to say, you did tell him that this was a big nightmare, and what was he doing?
Yeah.
Well, you said that because you thought it was work.
Well, I thought it was work, and I also thought that it would be a referendum on the show as opposed to what it really is supposed to be a referendum on. And believe me, you're better than I don't know this woman, but I guarantee you your children are better than hers. You're a better person than her. I can absolutely almost guarantee it. You're one of the best guys I ever met. And this is ridiculous. Go ahead.
A woman is walking around with a bag of crap.
shit. I mean, we get it. It's terrific. It's the stuff that Ivan Reitman could turn this into.
Oh my God!
He could produce another Animal House.
See, the problem is everything we said today, I'm in the paper again tomorrow. Of course. Fucking 8 days in a row.
Oh, it'll keep going and going, especially if we keep talking about it. The story gets no energy unless we keep talking about it.
Well, and she keeps talking about it. She kept the energy up while we were on vacation.
Right. Where did she go? To the news media.
Well, one of the things she said in the meeting, she got very upset. She almost came to tears, and she's like, the news came to my door, and no one's ever been to my door before. And I said,
well, why'd you answer it?
Hold on. I said, but you emailed the newspaper. Why would you be surprised that the newspaper and the news showed up? And she goes, well, I emailed the newspaper, but I didn't expect video to come. I was like, you can't choose who comes to your house. You're the one who...
You're publicizing
You're publicizing it. Here's what, if it would have been me, I would have taken it, thrown it away, and I wouldn't have told a soul.
Right.
Meaning, all
you're not going to fuel it.
But she said to me, like she has a lot of these catchphrases, and in the meeting, even though I didn't tell her what to do or what not to do, she looked me in the eye. She goes, "I'm going to tell you right now. When it comes to this, I will not be silenced." And I was like, "Nobody's asking to be silenced.
Talk all you want."
I'm not trying to silence her.
No. But if you're going to go around talking about it and carrying a bag of shit around with you, you can guarantee that news media will cover you. I mean, there's a woman in your neighborhood walking around with a bag of shit.
I love how she got all upset because the news media came to her door after she alerted them by email.
Exactly.
Listen, this is such not, when you think about the nonsense that is going on here, it's mind-boggling. But all right, listen, it's the stuff comedies are made of.
Yes. Does this whole incident make you that much more proud to work for the show? The fact that it's turned in and exposed some of these people who claim to be holier than thou.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that it's going to change anything up there, but yeah, it is interesting that I didn't have, all she needed to do was talk for people to figure out what she's all about, and that's fine. And she's who she is, and I'm who I am, and we could all represent the town in some capacity, but I don't have to agree with her, and I don't.
Now, the other thing was that a local congressman told you just to stay the course, that you're a good guy. But are you thinking about giving up in any way? Does
No,
it become too much?
It's too late to give up now. Because if I give up, I really do believe it's just a handful of people. So if I am going down, I'm going down in flames. But I'm not stopping now.
So the hassle is truly worth it at this point.
Well, I've invested so much in that to walk away now would be stupid. I might as well. I'm only gonna get another 2 weeks of shit, and I've already gotten so much shit that I might as well just keep going. So at least I could, I am pretty sure I will be appointed. And if I'm not, that'll be a story too.
There has been a lot of shit.
Yes.
Let me tell you something about this fucking Colleen Jenkins bitch, okay? Gary has never endangered anyone's health. You can't bring a bag of shit to a public place and pull it out and put it on a table in front of other people. This chick is a monster. You should be thrown in jail for doing something like that. If I brought a bag of shit to work, I'd be fired. This woman is out of control. Did Gary throw baloney at a woman's ass? Yes. Has he touched boobs to make sure that they were real or fake? Yes. Has he said some things that could maybe be construed as anti-feminist? I don't know. But I'll tell you what Gary's never done. He's never shit in a bag and brought it to work. Never, as far as I know. It's disgusting, it's criminal, and she should be thrown out of the community. Thank you.
Stephen, all your years of reporting, have you ever seen a ridiculous act like this pulled before where someone's actually bringing a bag of feces into a political forum.
You know, I worked at Hard Copy. I worked at A Current Affair. This is one of the greatest stories I've ever had the privilege of covering.
And are you that much more proud to be affiliated with the Howard Stern Show?
Absolutely.
Based on the reaction of
He's
these?
a baby.
Regardless of where you work, it's the story that counts. And this is the shit.